One of the questions that we get a lot this, how can I refresh this? I want a fresh start. I really had high hopes for 2020. 2020 is the, 2020 vision. It's about the year of visioning and creating and imagining. Here's the thing. When we experience stress, our brains prepare for fight, flight, or freeze. It's not the place you want to study in. It's not the place where you're going to get the best out of yourself. It's not the place where you're going to ponder possibilities and perform. So I put together an acronym. So RESET is the acronym I'm going to use. RESET. So what does the R stand for? If you want to feel safe, I would start by routine. Really look into your routines. I believe the treasure you seek is hidden in your daily routine. And so what kind of routines would I be thinking about? I would focus on especially routines around your sleep, most important. Your devotion to motion. What's your routine for moving? My other routines besides sleep, devotion to motion, eating routines, is around journaling. I feel like that taking your thoughts and putting them on paper. How many of you journal on a regular basis? And that's a wonderful way to reduce anxiety. It's a wonderful way to help you process what you're going through, to give yourself an emotional release. And going to emotional release, that's the E, okay? So we're just talking about the 5 keys to resetting your brain, resetting your 2020. The R is stick to your routines, your sleep routines, and design those routines. Little by little, a little becomes a lot because consistency compounds. The E stands for emotions. Now, what do I mean by emotions? First of all, I would say honor them. Honor them. Don't resist them. Don't feel bad because you're going to go through this year. How many of you went through a spectrum of emotions this year? I mean, like the full spectrum of emotions. And so don't resist, because what you resist persists. If you try not to do it, you're going to do it more. But, journaling is a great way of processing them. Talk therapy is a wonderful way of processing them. Having connection with people is a wonderful way of processing them, meaning that you could be physically distant, but you don't have to be socially distant. We're connecting here. You don't have to be mentally distant. So the R is your routine, right? The E is what? Emotion. Good. The S in reset stands for sever. What does it mean to sever? Sever means to disconnect, to separate, right? To enjoy some genuine time offline. And that's kind of ironic, right? Because we are online right now. But sometimes when we're on screens all the time, it gets difficult because it becomes addictive. And here's the thing, technology is not good or bad. Fire is not good or bad. Fire can cook your food or it can burn down your home. It's how you utilize it. So technology is a tool for you to use, but technology is using you, then who becomes the tool? Then you become the tool. Life is the C between B and D. What's B? Birth. D is death. C is choice. C is the choice. That these difficult times can define you, these difficult times can diminish you, or these difficult times can develop you. Ultimately, you decide with the choices you make every single day. And we always have a choice on what to focus on, a choice of what things mean. So S stands for sever, because self-love and self-care is not selfish, but self-love is like falling in love with the person in the mirror who's been through so much, but you're still standing. That the only time really to look back is to really honor how far you've come, right? Because you remember that time when you didn't think you could survive? You remember that? Well, you did if you're watching this, right? And you will again, because your life is like an egg. That if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. But if it's broken by an inside force, life begins. Great things begin where? On the inside. And you have greatness inside of you. And what's inside of you is so much stronger and more powerful than what lies in front of you. Now, the E stands for explore. Explore. When you're curious, you don't feel as much fear. Just like when you are grateful. When you're curious to it's interesting. When somebody's upset at you, getting curious instead of angry, right? It's been suggested that exploration, things like creativity, widening our social circles, this level of engagement is one of the reasons that positive emotions exist. So what can you explore? Maybe you want to find a new playlist. Maybe you want to try a new workout. Maybe you want to try a new food. We're talking about exploration. Find the things that light you up. I just did this interview today talking about passion and purpose. Passion for me is what lights you up. And purpose is how you use that to light other people. My passion is learning. My purpose is teaching other people how to learn. How many of you feel exhausted? Maybe you're not burnt out because you're doing too much. Maybe you're burnt out because you're doing too little of the things that make you come alive, the things that you really value. So having solitude is a wonderful time for self-reflection and asking yourself this question: what's most important to me in life? What's most important to me in my family? What's most important to me in my career, in my job, in my contribution, in my impact, right? And then lean into that, explore that, see where your passions, even with your kids too, see where their passions go, see where they're, give them enough stimulus and novelty. To build your brain mental muscle, same thing as your physical muscles. You give it novelty and give it nutrition, right? You give it stimulus, you work it out, and then you feed it with nutrition. Same thing with your brain. Your brain thrives on novelty. So get curious again. Get curious about your situation. What can I learn from this? And then finally, the T and reason is to really think. And when I say think, I mean dream again, hope again. 2020 still, there's still time to have vision. A lot of people, they have unfulfilled pasts, and you don't want that to be you. If you're watching this, it's certainly not you. But now, when is now a great time to change that, right? There's that proverb: the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time, today, right now. I'm talking to you. Now is the time to do it. Imagine, take a moment right now, take a breath, and imagine what you want most. See it, feel it, believe in it, and then work daily for it. Then work daily for it. Then roll up your sleeves and do it.